Hello and welcome to the Audio Dad Chronicles. I'm Shale, and today we're going to take a dive into Infected Rain at long last. This time featuring Tatiana of Jinjer, this will be the Infected Rain song, Me Against You, live. So I'm a big fan of Infected Rain, which is actually one of the reasons why we haven't covered them on this channel. I've heard most of their music. I'll say most, I don't know if I've heard every last album in its entirety, but I definitely know a significant number of their tunes, including this one, Me Against You. But I just learned today that there is a duet with Tatiana. Now, it's going back a few years, so who knows what we're going to get. Not sure the audio quality, but we are going to get right into this. I do know the song for the disclaimer, but I have never heard it in a duet version, and I need to, because I'm a big fan of Jinjer as well. So, we are going to get into this pretty quickly here, but this is going to be a continuation of a new series that we've got going, where we're going to be taking a live song, preferably a studio song with a live vocal one take. There's a lot of them out there, and I want to start getting into listening to more of them. I've recently done it with Jinjer's Duel, where we got to hear Tatiana's one-take live vocal. And now we're going to continue. Then we, of course, got into Spirit Box with Tatiana joining her on stage. Seems to be a trend here. Now, that was a live song, but we did do a breakdown of it where we could isolate their vocals. So we're going to kind of bounce between live versions and vocal one takes, but the goal being looking at the singer in a more live context. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to jump into Infected Rain, being that Tatiana's in it as well, and it's live, and I've never heard this in any live capacity before. I have yet to see Infected Rain or Jinjer live, and I do want to change that. And I do intend to do a live vocal one take of Infected Rain. There's a couple of them out there, and I haven't seen any of them yet, so those will be coming soon, maybe even next. Time will tell on that. But in the meantime, let's get into this live version that mashes up these two powerhouse ladies. This is definitely going back a number of years. Both these ladies have a lot more tattoos now. A lot of dreads flying on that stage. Such a sick breakdown. Love this song. we're going to take a quick little pause there. I did mention that we do deconstructions. That's where we separate the stems of the songs into individual tracks. We will be doing that for this song immediately following this first reaction. So if you want to skip ahead at any point or come back to it, there will be a chapter reference. You can also go to our Patreon page. You can download the individual stems from these songs. They're typically going to be available on Patreon about 2 to 3 days after I'll have this video up on YouTube, and they will be for free. You can download them there. If you're curious how I do the deconstruction, there is a free tutorial on how I do it there, and I also made a point of using tools that are available free to everyone. So no subscriptions, no special software is required. You will be able to do your own deconstructions of any song you like that's out there. I'll teach you how to do it. And, or, if you want to get into this song or any of the others that I've done deconstructions for, all the tracks will be available for download if you just want to skip that first step and just get straight into listening some of the isolated stems on your own. So, head on over to the Patreon. You sign up for it there, and you can check out those isolated stems, the how-to tutorial. There's all kinds of extra content over there where you get early access to all our YouTube videos ad-free, where you can get additional content, things that I put on YouTube that get blocked and I cannot put up. You'll find them over there. We'll do full album listening parties, all kinds of things like that. There's a bunch of bonus content over there that is accessible in Patreon as well. So if you want to do that, head on over there. And if you like what I do, listening to, reacting to songs, or even doing deconstructions, you can head to our Buy Me a Coffee page, and over there you can sponsor videos. You can leave us a tip just to say, hey, thanks for supporting me. All of the money that's raised on that channel, particularly those of the sponsored videos, go straight back into the channel. I recently was able to upgrade a camera thanks to some generous donations from my viewers, and I'm hoping to do the same very soon with new earphones. These are getting old and tired. Always willing to have a sponsorship, just throwing that out there. If there's a company that wants me to use their headphones, I'd be willing. But like I say, these headphones are getting old and tired, and it's time to get some new ones. And my lighting could use some improvement in here as well. So if you want to leave us a tip on the Buy Me a Coffee page, it's always appreciated. And of course, sponsoring a first reaction and or a deconstruction video can be done over there. So head on over to Buy Me a Coffee for that. But in the meantime, let's keep going on this, okay? I'd love to hear a proper version of this with these two. Absolute badasses. Maybe my two favorite female metal vocalists ever on this stage right here. Cool to hear they have the backing tracks even on their live back then. All right, there it was. Okay, hang tight. Stick around off the break. We'll be right back with the deconstruction. I'm just going to get everything set up for us. Hang on. Hey, thanks for sticking around for the break. Okay, as promised, I've got everything set up for you, everybody. So we are going to switch on over to here. And as promised, I have our vocals, guitar, bass, and drums. Now, stuff like this, where we're really wanting to look at the vocals more than anything, we're going to focus primarily on that. We will give a little bit of love to the drums and the bass and the guitar, but we will probably spend most of our time listening to the vocals. Now, I didn't clarify it earlier. Due to the nature of the way that the stem splitting functions, I'm not actually able to separate both singers. I did note through the course of the first reaction, I didn't point it out, but it does seem that Tatiana's voice, her microphone, is turned a little further down than I'm sure everybody would have liked. That is baked in, as they say. There's nothing we can do about that. And the stem separation is unable to separate the two of them. We would have to go all the way back to the original masters of that recorded the recorded mixing board or whatever to achieve that. And of course, we don't have access to that. But if anybody out there does, you hit me up. I'd love to have stuff like that. So we won't be able to separate them. We won't be able to pull Tatiana any further forward in the mix, but we will be able to separate the two of them at least and enjoy and appreciate their vocal prowesses in this song. So let's just tear into it. And for those who are wondering along the way, I have what's known as a MIDI controller in front of me. It specifically is a machine. It's not meant for this task necessarily, but it does work for this purpose. I can use it to do things like muting the different channels when I just push a couple of buttons. If you do your own stem separation, you would just use QuickTime, Media Player, Apple Music, something like that, and you would be able to play the individual songs on their own. Just give it a little bit of the guitar there. Switch over to the bass. Let's see what the drums are up to. Being that it is live, of course, there's going to be a lot of bleed and things like that. So we're just going to stop this really quick. We're going to back up to the start of the vocals. And like I say, we will spend most of our time primarily focusing on the singing because that's what we're here for today.
Yes, you like me, it's a period. What? Here I am upon this stage. Come over here.
And get to hear their harmonies.
What's your problem? What's your fault? You don't like me, so what? Me, I got you. Tell me what you want to do. Want to make me wanna fight? I'm not scared to not be light.
Quick little pause. Now for those maybe not too familiar with live music or how they do things, if you do pay attention, you will notice that those notes that are being sung by Lena, by Lena or Tatiana potentially if she's singing a part. The microphone was not necessarily in her mouth or near her mouth, but you heard that note repeated. That's actually going to be the sound man at work. The front of house engineer, sound man or person, I shouldn't say man per se, I don't actually know in this case. They will have control of things over the sound, including effects, and that is known as delay. So what they're doing there is they know this song, they work for the band, and they clearly know their role, and for the last word of that section where she's doing that note, they're pushing a fader up. So that creates a delay, a loop, if you will, of that last note. So she doesn't necessarily have to sing that last note twice herself, but he's pushing that note into there just for that one note and then taking it out again. So that's kind of what's happening there in the live context.
Yes, you like me, it's a period. What? Here I am upon this stage. Come over here.
More harmonies.
What's your problem? What's your goal? You don't like me, so what?
Would have loved to have been at this show. I can only assume that Jinjer performed the same night. You can hear the delay, delay, delay. That's what that is. So it is still done live.
What you want to hear? What's your problem? What's your bone? You don't like me, so what? Me, I got you. Tell me what you want to do.
It warms my heart to know these two actually might be friends. And I would love to hear another collaboration from them in a more professional environment. I think that would be sick. Yeah, unfortunately, the sound man had that note too quiet. That's really too bad. Wow, there it is. Maybe it wasn't the optimum audio quality, but it was still worth doing. That was a lot of fun. It's the only time I've ever heard of them duetted together, and I only just found out about it. So I was pretty excited, and I had to jump right into it blindly, even though I did know the song to begin with in its original studio version. That was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to some suggestions. I know we will be doing some Infected Rain live vocal one takes. Lena's Scissorhands has got to be heard. I've got to do a breakdown on those. That will come soon. I know there is a lot more from Tatiana. She's done a number of them. I've seen them out there for Courtney LaPlante. We will get to those. I know Will Ramos has done some live vocal one takes. But who else? Am I missing anybody? I would prefer to focus on the studio version type of these, studio song live vocal versus a fully live, just to get a more cleaned and polished production where the quality of it might be just a little higher and the balance in the mixes might be a little more professional than what they were able to achieve with this. But it is still wonderful to know that things like this are out there. That was a lot of fun. Thanks a lot for coming along on the ride on this one, and I hope to see you all again.